poem, we should be able to look at some of these blanks and fill them out. We just looked at the poem together before PE, but let's kind of look at this together. We underlined some new information about Paul Revere that we learned from the passage. So it says Paul Revere is blank and eager to ride. What?
Impatient.
Impatient. Very good.
I read it before you did, and I realized what it was.
Yep, we learned that earlier. He's impatient and he's eager to get on his way. Okay. He crosses the river and waits for the what? What? Tristan, you. Okay, so he's waiting for the horse. He's waiting for the people to bring him the horse. With Miss Johnson's class, we said signal fit too, because he's kind of waiting for them to give the signal that he needs to go. He knows he's going to have to go. He's waiting for the signal. So you could say horse fits there. You could say signal fits there, because he's kind of waiting for both. Up to you.
What does that say? Wait, what's after the S?
Oh,
Is it broken? No, it's not. There's no such thing as kind of. It's not broken.
it's one that ain't sharpened.
It's.
No, I don't.
I don't. Once his friend places 2 lanterns in the belfry, which is like the tower, Paul does his job how? What?
He puts 1, 2 lamps up if they're coming by sea.
Well, I know, but once the lamps are up, how does Paul do his job? Meaning, is he with people? Is he going alone? Like, he's alone. Very good. So once his friends help him do that, he does the riding alone. That's something that you're going to be noticing in a minute. Once his friends do the help for him, he does it alone.
That's very selfish.
Don't
about
want to
that?
wait for slow people. I don't blame them.
Okay, he rides for hours to blank the colonists about the British people coming by sea. What?
Warn.
Warn. Very good.
I said that.
Warn. Okay.
No, I already knew.
Warn.
Alert.
Alert fits too. Warn people about British spies or alert people about British spies. Either one. Now, his actions sparked the Revolutionary War and set colonists on a course toward what? What do the colonists want? Do what? I don't necessarily think they want war. What do they want to get out of this war? Freedom. Very good.
What about riches?
Like
Independence fits. Liberty fits. I wouldn't say riches. They're not doing this because they want to get rich. They're doing this because they're tired of England bossing them around.
They don't care about that. They have to only sell if they have to take taxes.
Right.
They don't care about
So independence fits. Liberty fits. Freedom fits.
But if you're independent, you have to do it small.
Right. So guys, we have our notes for Paul Revere's ride. I am about to read with you 1 if by land, 2 if by sea. How about while I'm reading, you see if you can fill in these blanks by yourselves, and then we'll check them together. But there's not a lot to have to fill in for what I'm about to read you. So
So it
again,
should be easy.
if you have a copy of the Liberty book, no, nobody in here does. Do what? If you want to, yeah. Some people in Miss Johnson's class have bought this actual book.
I bought it, but it's at home.
That's okay. So I'm going to show it to you on the screen right now. And you can be trying to think of what goes in these blanks as I am reading. So this section of the Liberty book is called 1 if by land, 2 if by sea. Again, we know what that means because we have the background knowledge from the other 2 versions of Paul Revere's Ride that we've read.
Why does he look cold? Because his face is red. He's mad, bro. That's just
No, it's snowing.
He's in a rush.
He's screaming. That's what it looks like. He's like
I didn't draw the picture, but I can imagine sometimes sometimes it's kind of cool at nighttime in Louisiana in April. I can only imagine
say that
in
again.
Boston, Massachusetts in April. I'm sure it is pretty cold at night.
Wait, it looks like.
All right, so let's look at this. One if by land, two if by sea. You guys can see the illustration. It's not. You done? Good. It's not. This text is not going to be super clear for you. So if you can't see that, that's okay. I'm reading it to you. Okay. So it says, one day, two young men in old brown suits with red handkerchiefs tied around their necks strolled out of Boston. They kicked at stones, whistled, and tried to look innocent. But almost everyone they met recognized them for what they were, British spies. General Gage had ordered spies to scout the countryside toward Lexington and Concord. So it doesn't tell us in this text, but I can infer that General Gage must be somebody who's in charge of like the British Army or the British loyalists. Yeah, or the spies, because it says that he's ordered his spies. So if he's ordered somebody, he must be in charge. I don't know from this text, but I'm inferring. Y'all see how I'm putting the pieces together based on what the text says. Now, it says he thought that the colonists had guns and ammunition hidden in the area, and he also suspected that two important leaders of the Sons of Liberty, Samuel Adams and John Hancock, were hiding nearby. We've heard about them, y'all, from the first story. It would be a great blow to the colonist cause if he could capture them. Until they are sent home prisoners, General Gage wrote, I fear we shall have no peace. Finally, his plans were ready. Hoping to surprise the Americans, he gave the order to attack on the night of April 18th, 1775. Not new information. We already knew that. But the Americans were ready for him. 2 lanterns were hung in the steeple of the Old North Church to warn that the Redcoats were on the march. Now, top of this page. Paul Revere saw the signal, hurried to the Charles River, and was rowed across by a friend. When they reached the other side, Revere borrowed a horse, leaped into the saddle, and galloped off toward Concord to give the alarm. The regulars are out, he yelled, and raced on. The regulars were British troops. When the men heard his shout, they dressed quickly and loaded their muskets. Meanwhile, the Redcoats were hurrying down the docks. Boats ferried them across the Charles. At the other side, there wasn't any dock. To reach the land, the Redcoats had to jump out of their boats into icy water and thick mud. The first men to wade ashore just stood there, freezing and miserable, until the rest had arrived. Finally, soaked and muddy, the Redcoats marched off, shivering down the dark road to Lexington. But as they marched, they heard an unwelcome sound. Church bells were tolling. Drums were beating the alarm. General Gage's secret attack was secret no more. So, guys, in other stories, we didn't read really what happened once Paul got to the town. We know that Paul woke people up and he said the British are coming. But until then, this passage, we didn't know that they started ringing their church bells. And so they started waking everybody up from their sleep.
I was picturing that from the first book.
Yeah?
Like since he hung the lanterns, I thought that he would have just beat. On
Yeah. Very good. Well, let me read y'all these captions on these 2 sides, and then we'll go to our page, okay? So this first caption, I'll try to zoom in for you. Woo, zoomed really in. Let's see.
That's good.
If you look, you can kind of see 2 guys. It looks like they're digging. Look at what the caption says. It says, the townspeople of Concord buried their guns and ammunition in haystacks and freshly plowed fields so that the British spies wouldn't see them. When they received warning of a British attack, they would dig them up, arm themselves, and be ready to fight. So they know that this is coming. They know that spies are around. So if the British spies are around and they see their guns and ammunition, they're going to go back and tell. Well, if they had them all,
They have no reason to tell.
they can be ready. You know, guns must not have been that fragile back then as they are now. I know that we take pretty good care of our guns now. We would not dream of burying them in the dirt. But back then, I mean, you had to do what you had to do. So then this next caption, we've heard this information before. It says, to cross the Charles River, Paul Revere had to pass very close to the Somerset, a British man of war armed with 64 cannons. So in the poem, we heard that the ship's name was the Somerset, And in the first story, we heard that it was armed with 64 cannons. Okay? The least noise might give him away. At the last minute, he thought of wrapping the oars in cloth to muffle the sound. There was no time to waste, so he asked a lady for her petticoat. She threw it down to him from a window, and years later, Paul Revere would tell his grandchildren that when the petticoat fluttered into his hands, it was still warm. So,
He's blushing.
do what?
He looks like he's
Oh,
blushing.
he probably, yeah, he might be.
Wow.
Okay, so guys, we've officially read all the versions of this story that we're going to read. We're going to listen to another one. We're going to read these. Now listen, in my notes page, in our notes page, let's look at kind of what we've got left. What are you making that noise for? It sounds like you're in pain.
What's that?
There it goes. Okay, so let me zoom. In this passage, we've gotten information about British who? Madeline? Very good. Spies. So this was both stories, y'all. Both stories we heard about British spies. It says, the text says, Paul Revere waited for his signal and then rode across the river with a friend and borrowed a what, Isaiah? Well, he did borrow that, but what does he borrow to travel on his journey? What's he borrow to travel on his journey? Isaiah, how does he get where he's going? Is your name Isaiah?
Sorry, I got it right.
Yeah, a horse. He borrows a horse. Look at the next little bullet point, Isaiah. That's where it's talking about his petticoat. It also says he borrowed a petticoat. Yes, you're right, he does, but it was already written down here. So it says he borrowed a petticoat at the last minute. It says that this was a last minute decision, not something he forgot to bring. Up here, it says he forgot to bring a petticoat. He forgot to bring something.
Saying two different things.
So it's like, again, we're getting different information from each of these stories that we're reading. So now, I know that you notice that there are 3 boxes. It wants to know what is different from these other texts, but we're not going to fill that out yet. Right down here, we're going to kind of extend our chart, and we're going to write vocabulary song, and then we're about to hear our vocabulary song.
Yes.
That's what I did.
No.
And type of text, it's going to be song. So it's kind of like a poem because it's a song. And we talked about how poems are kind of like songs. And then I'll help
They
you
are
fill
songs.
in what you need to know from this vocabulary song. So guys, my plan for this vocabulary is I'm about to play it while I'm passing out the lyrics. We'll listen to it. That just says song. It's just called American Revolution. This song is in general about the American Revolution, but part of it is about Paul Revere's ride. So we're still going to listen to and learn the whole thing, but we'll pause and talk about Paul Revere's part today. Well, hopefully today. So I'm going to press play on the song and let it start playing so that you can be listening while I'm passing out the lyrics. Then, like all the time, Then, like all the time, we'll pause and fill in the blanks. I am talking, so you are not. Like all the other times, we'll fill in the blanks together and then we'll pause. Then we'll listen to it all the way through. Then we'll look at what Paul Revere's ride has to do with any of this. We'll add that information to this chart, and then I'll assign it to you on your Google Classroom so that you can be doing.
Miss Gantry?
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Curran's grandmother brought some water for your classroom,
Oh, thank you so much.
and she said if you could send Curran and one other child maybe to come, they're just going to bring it kind of right to that door that like kind of goes into that hall.
Yes, ma'am. That's good. I'll send Curran. Thank you.
Okay.
Curran, pick a friend. Pick a friend. Go ahead. Y'all go ahead. So while I am passing out, you guys are just going to be listening to the song. So let me go to.
I thought they said Connor's grandma.
Curran. Okay, so
I've seen a very weird face.
this is gonna be the song. I'm gonna pass out the lyrics. You guys are listening.
It sounds like a spy music.
I don't need that. You want to go talk to Mr. Welsh about that? Exactly.
Learn that chicken ball.
Listen, here he comes. All right. So that was the first listen to this song. I'm going to replay and then I'm going to pause for you to fill in the blanks, but I think I'm out of the
Lyric page.
Yeah, I'm out of the lyrics page to write on it with you. That's okay. It's not that difficult to follow along. So I'm gonna replay. There it is.
I only got one.
And I'll help you. That's okay.
I got 0.
Listen, I'm gonna replay, and then we can pause and fill in the blanks and talks about what goes in them. So
Mom, we still get the words wrong.
Can you be quiet and
Oh, I didn't get it.
okay, British had a monopoly.
I don't think the other people can see the word monopoly.
They're all getting in the way.
They are all getting in the way. Girls, get down.
Y'all should be able to see.
I can see over there.
I was where Sophia's at, and I saw.
We're supposed to be tall.
Mon, M-O-N,
It's like
O-P.
Monopoly, kind of.
Exactly. Okay, speaking of, when you get assigned the vocabulary games and the vocab cards, you'll understand what this word means, but until then, does anybody know what a monopoly is? I understand why you would say that. Context clues could kind of lead you to that. What?
Me?
Yeah.
It's like a big sell. Like they're making a lot of money off of it.
Okay, exactly. So they are making a lot of money off of selling the tea because they're the only people who are allowed to do it. So when you have a monopoly on something, that means you're the only person who's allowed to sell it. So you can charge anything you want for it. In America today, monopolies are legal because people can sell anything they want for any price they want. It is a game, but think about it. What is the object of the game? To get all of the money and all of the property, so that you have a monopoly on all of the property, and you can charge
bunches
people.
of money.
Yes, and you can charge people whatever you want. So
I
guys,
said a fortune.
am I talking? Okay, so monopoly on selling tea. Look at the next one. Okay, T-ax. T-ax. That's it.
Oh, wait, now I got that.
It's two very simple words that you definitely know how to spell. What,
Let
baby?
me look at the board.
Because that's all they had left.
To drink?
Ready? Sam Adams is the one who's calling this out. Y'all, and if you remember from reading yesterday and probably Monday too, Paul Revere took part in the Boston Tea Party. He was one of these people dressed up like these Mohawk Indians that threw this tea. So Paul Revere's kind of in this part of the story too. Group 1, I think, read that for their part of the book.
Yeah, it was creepy.
All right, so Sam Adams is what you need to do a filled in right here.
He looks creepy. Well, she didn't do the.
What, Kevin? I can't hear Kevin, who actually raised his hand to talk to me. Yeah, so the mouth is kind of nutcracker.
No, a puppet. The puppet mouth.
Kind of.
Indolable acts.
Intolerable acts. Now, this means that they were not easily tolerated. So we're going to look at a little bit more into those later, but for now, you just need to know that it's intolerable. I-N-T-O-L-E-R. Girl, it's on the board, and you're right in front of the board. I'm spelling this for the people in the back. You're talking, and I don't need you to be talking because I'm talking. Intolerable. I-N-T-O-L-E-R-A-B-L-E.
It
Acts.
says able.
Intolerable acts.
It says able at the end of it.
Really? Really? Very good. Paul Revere goes in there and explains, and you should hopefully know how to spell that because we've been writing it for days.
I still can't hit it in first name.
It's my dad.
Okay? Now flip it over. There's not a lot to write, so just listen to Paul Revere's story. As we're listening to Paul Revere's story, I want you to underline again things you've heard before and star things that are new. So Paul Revere's story is about to play. You're underlining familiar, you're starring new, just like we did with the poem.
He says Johnny Cox's career is Sam out of fear. It was the year 1775. The Brits wanted to steal some ammo and supplies. At night, Revere's like, yo, don't even fear. Stand a lantern from the church when they come in here. One if I land, two if I see. Then I speed off mad speedy through the country. Midnight comes around, Paul's getting antsy. Teeth chatter like yo when his hands are clammy. Two lights ignite. Paul's like, oh yikes. Hops on his ride, he and dogs ride through the night. His voice in the darkness is knock at the door. And the words that shall echo forevermore. The British are coming, the British are coming. Kiss your youngins, grab your guns. The British marched down into Lexington. And thanks to Paul Revere, we were expecting them. Captain said, don't fire unless you fire upon. But if they mean to have a war, we gon' bring it on. A shot rang out through the morning. The revolution was done.
Revolution.
This is, the next blank is revolution. And this is a word we are familiar with and we should know how to spell.
Yeah.
All right.
Morning, it's daunting. They killed us in Lexington, moved on to Concord.
Very good. So Lexington and Concord go in the next blanks. They killed us at Lexington, moved on to Concord.
You wouldn't think it was GT.
What?
I wouldn't think it would be GT, but it is.
Oh. What, baby?
Was Paul Revere?
Revere. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Wait,
I like
why would
He was one of the.
He asked a question.
Why does it mean they killed us in Lexington?
That was a battle that I'm thinking we lost based on these context clues. But as we read, we're going to learn. We're going to figure out, as we read more about the American Revolution, we're going to figure out what happened at these Lexington and Concord battles.
Lexington moved on to Concord, but we started putting metal on them like they honored. We were ducking out of trees like some chimpanzees, dressed in brown, bringing red coats to their.
Bringing red coats to their knees. So red coats is the last blank in our lyric sheet. Case, you got it? Red coats.
Can't you work on all the underlying stuff?
Paul
Revere.
stayed in conflict.
Okay, well, we're going to see. Alrighty, red coats was our last blank. This is going to be the conclusion of the song. Then we're going to talk about similarities and differences.
They were all lined up like in the soup line. We polished them off like they were shoe shine.
This sounds weird.
I don't even.
Okay, y'all. What's not working? What's going on with this song? Like, what's not working that they're trying to change? Their freedom. Very good. They don't have any. That's not working for them anymore. So that's what they're trying to change. Okay, we got our lyrics, but this back part is about Paul Revere. And as I was listening, I'm kind of doing the same thing I was doing when I was listening to the poem. I was underlining things that are familiar to me. I was kind of starring things that I have not heard before. So 1775, did we know that?
Yes.
We did. Did y'all underline 1775?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The British wanted to steal ammo and supplies. That's new. We knew that they wanted to attack, but we didn't.
That's why
We knew that they wanted to attack, but we didn't know they're trying to steal their ammo and supplies. What, baby?
maybe that's why they put the British people to go steal it and act like they're just act like they're regular people, but they're just trying to steal it.
Right. Very good. All right, listen. At night, Revere's like, yo, don't even fear. Just hang a lantern from the church when they're coming near. We know that.
Just hang the lantern.
We knew they were hanging the lantern. We knew they were hanging one if by land, two if by sea. We knew that Paul Revere is going to speed off mad speedy through the country. We knew all that.
I never think he said.
Me neither.
I don't think that's exactly what he said. I think that's just what they said. But we knew he was telling them, like, okay, I'll go do the...
They just
Yeah,
said
he-
speedy
he's
so
like-
it would rhyme with
Exactly. All right, so midnight comes around. Paul's getting antsy. Teeth chatter like whoa, and his hands are clammy. If he's antsy, his teeth are chattering. What's that tell us about his emotions?
Impatient.
Scared. Impatient. He's like cold and like he's trying to warn everybody like really fast.
Okay, well yeah, but like if he's antsy and his teeth are chattering and his hands are clammy, that means his hands are sweating. What are those symptoms of? Sweaty hands, chattering
nervous.
teeth,
Nervous.
feeling antsy. Yeah, he's
Nervous.
nervous. He's scared about that. Did we know that? Did we know that he felt nervous about his ride?
No, we just knew he was impatient.
We knew he was impatient, but thinking back, y'all, if I'm Paul Revere and I know it's my job to go and warn everybody who's on my side that the British are coming about to attack us, do you feel nervous? I probably feel nervous.
Yes.
So I'm just saying. So, let's see. Listen to this part. Listen to this part. Two lights ignite. Paul's like, oh yikes. So that's him seeing the lights. We knew he sees the lights. But then it says hops on his ride, and he and Dawes ride through the night.
That must be the horse.
Well, let's look.
Where's horse?
Yeah, the dog's name was something else.
Listen, y'all aren't with me. I'm going to keep backing up so that we can see this. I'm back to the slide. Oops. There we go. Check this out.
Yeah,
Y'all notice? Listen. Y'all notice this person back here?
No.
The friend.
That's a friend. That's somebody on a horse with him. Somebody named Dawes. Did any of these passages list that somebody rode on a horse with him? No. It said he did it on his own. So this fact about him and somebody else riding the horses, that's new, guys.
I'm scared.
Why? Shh, I'm putting a star, y'all, because I didn't know about anybody riding on a horse along with him. I just thought he did it by himself until right now.
Yeah, because we put a alarm on here.
I can't hear, y'all. I can't hear. Can't hear.
It even says Dave.
Dawes. I think that's somebody's probably last name. Okay? If we did learn, some of you might have seen that he had some help in other books, but we definitely didn't know anybody's name until right now. What, Chloe?
Well, in the first book we read about Paul, is he had two other people with him trying to like get off the spies.
But that was in the boat.
Yeah. No, that was on the horse. No.
Oh, yeah. But we didn't know anybody's
Yeah, but
name.
we didn't know
Yeah,
the
we
name.
didn't know anybody's name until now. Yes, you're right. All right, now listen. The kind of going through here, like Chloe mentioned earlier, sometimes they're just putting things in just to make sure it rhymes. So, kiss your youngins, grab your guns. We don't know. Maybe he said that, maybe he didn't say that, but we definitely know that he's saying the British are coming, they're on their way. Like, get ready. What is it? Yeah, he did do that in the first story for sure. The British are coming, kiss your youngins, grab your guns. Now listen.
I don't think it said he grabbed. He said grab
I can't
your
hear
gun.
Bryson.
I don't think
Curran is turned
he like
around. Are
grabbed
you with
his
me?
gun.
You sure? Because it looks like you're in a conversation, boo.
Yeah, I don't think it says grab your guns.
What is it, Bryson?
I don't think he grabbed his gun and just ran out.
He didn't grab his gun.
No, he was the one telling people to grab their guns. He's the one on his horse. Now listen, this part right here, and thanks to Paul Revere, we were expecting them. We already knew this information. So this, for the most part, is all we need to document on our lyrics. Now back to our notes. Back to your notes page that you've been writing. When I told y'all that we were going to add some stuff from the flow cab song. What do we think we're learning from this song that maybe we didn't already know? What are we learning from this vocabulary song? Now, we don't have very much time to talk about this because we're about to have to start packing up. But what did we learn from this song that we did not already know? Ethan.
He rode with a friend.
Okay. And it told us the friend's name.
Dowie.
Yeah.
Dawes. It was Dawes.
I don't know. I don't know what we're doing. Okay, we did not know that before now. What about his feelings that we did not know before now? Adeline?
Nervous.
Okay.
His teeth chattering.
Yeah, y'all. It says his teeth chatter, his hands are sweating, and he's antsy. And he might be like nervous and excited, because to me, if I'm trying to put myself in Paul's shoes, looking at things from his point of view, he probably is excited because he knows he's about to go save all of these people. But I'm sure he's thinking, gosh, this is such a big responsibility. What if I mess it up? That's what I would be thinking. What if I mess this up?
Yeah, me too. I can just
sad.
picture
what if I
myself
don't
like
get to
riding
tell
on the
him?
horse.
Right, like what if I don't get the message delivered? What?
I would just have a mental breakdown.
No, he did not die in the American Revolution.
Wait, is that a
Good for him.
I don't know. Listen, we are going to take turn. We are going to research some American Revolution figures. So maybe one of you will pick Paul Revere and tell us all of this information. For now, something else that was different that we needed to note was what? Is that?
I was about to ask you.
Okay, what?
I was about to say, your teeth usually chatter when you're cold.
Yeah, sometimes they do.
Oh, I remember.
Look, are y'all on your notes? What else is on here that we didn't?
I'm looking at my lyrics.
Okay, yeah, that's where I need you to be. What?
He wanted to steal some ammo and supplies.
Who wanted to steal some ammo and supplies?
The Brit.
Very good.
Look, this is the only reason why he said that is because I spelled it wrong on
He
here.
died April 18th. Wait.
That's when this ride was.